Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Happy Valentine's weekend, whatever you want to call it. This is definitely a time of year that is all about the girls. So I wanted to come on and basically do one of my favorite and classic, it's a real classic that I've not done for a long time, sultry, beautiful, smoky looks. And I was going to go down the route of like dark, like beautiful berry red lip or like the pinks and all of those things. And I thought about it realistically and I thought, if you were getting taken out on a date tomorrow for Valentine's and you wanted to look your sexiest, which is the reality, we want to feel sexy, what would you go for? And for me, it would be a smoky, beautiful eye with a beautiful glowy skin and a nude lip. And for me, that never dates. It always looks timeless. It always looks beautiful and sultry. And I think a lot of us love like a glowy bronzed look. I've said it before, the pinks are not my thing. I do love them on other people. I just don't go for them, or I'm not drawn into them for myself. So I really wanted to give you guys a kind of a bit of old school, I would say maybe like 2000s. Would it be that? I don't know. I'm now 34 and I used to do this look kind of maybe in my early 20s. So 10 years ago, let's say. I'm obviously going to modernize it. I want to keep it really, more modern. Anyway, I'm barefaced right now. I've just got my skincare on and my SPF. And we're going to go from scratch through the look. And I can't wait to go through this with you. So enjoy. Just to let you all know, I've already put some body glow on. I used my San Moritz Glow Oil. This is the bronze one. These are stunning. I also got the brush with it. So this was sent to me and I used it twice already, just for the fun of it really. And now I'm just hooked on it. It's the easiest thing. The brush really does it for you as well. It just blends everything in. And it's possibly like the easiest way to look like you've got JLo glow within literally 0.5 seconds. So let's fast forward to add in the classic Charlotte Tilbury Flawless Filter. This is the shade 5.5. So it's going to be a little bit more bronzed, but this is the effect I want for today. I literally want to look like bronze goddess JLo, basically. I'm going to use a big fluffy brush for this. This is actually my Melly Sophia. I think this is the bronzer blush. Yeah, it's the warm-up brush. So it was for bronzer. I just like the idea of using this as a full face brush. So we've got that beautiful kind of glow from within before we apply any other products. And it then just blends down into that glow with the neck as well. For my base, I am really leaning towards tints at the moment as opposed to a full coverage foundation. I still absolutely love my full coverage foundations, but those of you who aren't new to the channel will know how much I love my Lisa Eldridge. The light is really bright. So yeah, the Lisa Eldridge Enhancing Skin Tint. This has been my absolute go-to at the moment. This is the shade 10. Also got a sample of the shade 11, so I may need both today. I'm definitely not without this, but as I've got the body glow on, this may be too light. You can see it's actually really watery. It's got such a beautiful finish and texture, and it feels gorgeous on the skin. It literally feels like skincare. So that is the shade 10. I think we might be able to make it work with the Hollywood Flawless filter underneath. Let's see. It might be a little bit more olive, but I think we can make it work, guys. So we're just going to use a small amount of T11 on the forehead, although all of this will be bronzed up anyway. So we've got a much more, I've got a hair across my forehead. So we get a much more kind of skin-like base. Although I want this to be like full glam and smoky, I still want the skin to look like skin, like flawless, done, but glow from within. Stick with my Vieve concealer. This is a shade medium 5, and that is purely because it gives still that kind of good coverage, but slightly more like skin texture. Works really nicely as a warm enough, but also kind of like neutral enough tone. I love it at the moment. I've said it a few times, but I really, really love this concealer. Go back to the foundation brush I was using a minute ago. That is the Caia brush. F13 Caia brush for foundation has been a real beauty at the moment, and I quite like using it then for the concealer as well in the kind of larger areas. So I'll use it now just to buff out the edges of that concealer. And then it all kind of becomes more of a seamless look. Really, really love this concealer. If you're someone that is worried about things sitting in fine lines, looking dry, or just sitting a bit heavily around the eyes or on the skin anywhere, then I really recommend this Vieve concealer. I just think it sits so perfectly. And it doesn't make me feel aged around the eye area or dehydrated in any way. A lot of you know that I don't like too much concealer over the eyelid and all the way up to the lash line. I just think it looks a lot softer when you use whatever leftover product is on your brush and blending it out and round. This is ultimately for me what gives a look a softer finish as opposed to concealing everything. If you want to blank out the eyelid and build a whole look, you can really create some beautiful work. But for me, I just prefer this kind of softer, less, it's still perfected, but it's less perfected and in your face. This next product I've been buzzing to show you guys, January favourites, because it is a new love of mine. But this is a really battered tube. This is the Brow Lamination by L'Oreal. It's really, really good and affordable brow gel. For me personally, the best one I've used. I do use the Jacka Black one as well. I've said it before, but this one just seems to be a lot easier to work with. So I always coat the brow hairs downwards first, and then I'm lifting up and just slowly working with it, slowly but quickly, shall I say, just so that I get all the hairs into place where I want them. I've really realised over time that I love my brows to be laminated, and unfortunately I can't keep getting it done and having it freshly done, because then I'd have no brow hairs left at all. So instead, during these in-between stages, I can just use the brow gel, or always use the brow gel. So you can see I've just painted them. It's literally slick as well. It stays so well. I'm going to do the other brow. So we're brushing down. It looks really crazy. And then slowly working with the hairs to bring them up first of all. Just need to bring my mirror out because it's really hard to see otherwise. So going up firstly, and then just slowly working with the hairs. Once this sets, it's literally sorted all day long. I go to the gym with this on. It's sweat proof, nothing moves. It's great. I just want to contour my lips, which is something I love to do now. It's not something I ever used to do back in the day, but since getting the Makeup by Mario liquid bronzer, I find that this is the perfect product for contouring around the lips. So just go directly underneath and right up into that shadow, almost that kind of small bit that you see above the lip line. And if you didn't know, this product comes with a pump as well as the little doe foot, is that what they call them? It's so good. If you're someone that likes to bronze your skin and not necessarily wear foundation, or just make it look like you've got that glow and that bronze without wearing loads of makeup, then that bronzer is the one for you. It's phenomenal. And the shades, I've said, they are really neutral, so they come out not too golden and not too warm and not too cool at the same time. So it's the perfect balance between bronze and contour. So I'm just going to use that just to give us a little contour and plumpness around the lips before I then continue with the rest of the makeup. Use the Vieve cream bronzer. This is the shade medium. I might need something slightly deeper, so I'm just going to see how this works. This is the F06 brush. It's like a contour kind of slanted brush, and I like this for cream bronzing. So we're going to use this right into the hairline. Just want to get that bronze into the face. It's been one of my loves at the moment to kind of bronze and contour the skin before I get any of the other eye makeup or any of the other bits on. I will obviously come back to it, but it just gives me a little bit more of a guide when I'm then doing the eye makeup. One of the crucial parts of this is nose contour, which I will go back into after, but I do need it to just give me a little guidance right now as well. So we're using the same product, and this is the Tropic EB6 blending brush. So it's two sides, and it's one of my favorite brushes when it comes to eye makeup and contour on my nose. So I really want to bring that contour into the inner brow, really bring in that sultry look. So I'm just going to use the leftover of that with the other side of the brush. This brush is literally well loved with bronzer. We're going to blend all of this out as well. Just so we have that beautiful bronzy nose. This will all make sense once I've got the eye makeup on. It might look a bit harsh right now, but you'll see. So we are going to do the eyebrows first. Frame out this whole eye area using my this is my absolute favorite eyebrow pencil at the moment. This is MAC, and it's the Pro Brow Definer. It's a really fine pencil, which means I can literally just add hair strokes into these gaps. It's really hard to do this without a mirror, so I might do this off camera and come back. But yeah, you can see what I'm doing. I'm just really small hair strokes. And you'll see how much more full they'll look in a minute. Come back with the eyebrows done. They still look defined and they've still got fluffiness, but like in your face. So we're gonna get started with this eye makeup. I'm so excited. I have to use my trusty Makeup by Mario Master Mattes palette. This is the original shade. There is also a cooler tone, but I really want this to be caramelly, warm, smokes, which are my all-time favorite. We're gonna start off with matte 2 and matte 4. Again, like I said, I want this to be a really smoky, caramelly look. And I'm gonna sweep this again through the crease, and we're not scared to go a little bit higher because I want this to look really softly blended out through those creases. And this is the best way to make a smoky eye look softer as opposed to looking harsh. Matte 5 and matte 8, so we're just going down a few to deepen. And again, this is going to go into the socket, but we're not going to go quite as high with this. I'm using the same brush because it's quite nice just building the colour with the same brush. So again, matte 5 and matte 8 from the Makeup by Mario Master Mattes palette. I'm going to use my Vieve 223 brush just to get that same shade under the lash line. Again, my crucial part of makeup that I love to do. I really, really love doing this. I think it instantly does something. It will bring that sultriness to the eye. I am going to build on this because we are going to do a real smoky lower lash line, but I needed to just get that shading in. What I actually want to do is bring my bronzer in. So this is a really well-loved Makeup by Mario Skin Perfector. So this comes as like a 3-tone. I have got some in my kit here that aren't so ruined, but these are my own. So I just want to add this in because it adds a real warmth. It's like the perfect bronzy warmth that just elevates, even though the eyeshadows are stunning. Sometimes I just need that bronze warmth in the eye. In a brow again, because I really adore that look where we have the depth in here. I remembered these Lisa Eldridge liquid shadows, so I'm actually going to just place this on the eye and blend this in. These hold really well. Before I go any further with any more eyeshadow, now is going with my black gel liner. I want a really intense lash line, so I'm going to use my Made by Mitchell. These are the gel cream eyeshadows, Hotter Than Ever it's called. And the reason I like to use gel liners as opposed to pencils a lot of the time is because they just stay so well, and I find that sometimes the colour payoff is more than a pencil liner. There is a lot of pencils out there actually that are really jet black now. Something about these I find stays longer. So I'm gonna have to do this with the mirror. Really hard to do with one hand, but I basically like to go into the lash line. So I like to go on the waterline, but then also just make sure that you're getting right into the lash line so that you don't get the little white gaps between the lashes and the skin. It's that skin in between basically. I'm going to brush off that product and just blend it. And one of my favourite things to do is bring it right in. This is not for everyone. If you don't want to bring it all the way in, you can kind of do it halfway, or you can just bring it kind of up until the whites here of the eye. I just like to try and enhance the whole shape of my eye if I'm going to do it. Blends out really nicely. Already you're seeing the full eye shape kind of be brought out and enhanced. Use the same brush just to really focus this along the lash line. And again, I just want to really enhance my eye shape, but slowly blend that out. So I'm using the same brush. Forgot to say, this is the Zoeva 237, a small, like detailed shader brush. This is absolutely amazing for anything that's kind of detailed around the lash line. And what I'm doing in between is just literally rubbing it onto a towel or a tissue so that any of the excess product is gone, and then it's just using kind of like the dirty brush to blend everything out. I've got cramp, guys. And we are just really focusing on that lash line and the brush, and then blending and also just winging out. So anyone that has more of a hooded eye and struggles to wing out the eye makeup, it doesn't need to always be winged. Like, this is just me doing it for my eye shape or an almond eye shape, or to create that look. You can still wing out with a hooded eye, just don't lift it too high. You might want to keep it straighter. Pressing this up into the lash line. If you saw any pictures of me in my early 20s, then I think I always had a smoky eye. It was my all-time go-to. And let's be honest, Kim Kardashian came out at that time. I was always obsessed with J-Lo, and then Kim K came out and I thought, oh, and it was at that time that smoky eyes went crazy, and I was already obsessed with smoky eyes. So I've always had this thing of like the J-Lo smokes, bronzes and glows, and then the Kim K's really smoky, but then the bright under eye kind of thing came in. I want this to look richer. I want it to look smokier. We're going to go back into the Makeup by Mario palette. Is go really close to that lash line now and shade out. A lot of people get a bit lost when it comes to this. With the smoking out around the lash line, it's a very scary thing to do, but this used to be and still is one of my staples in my work. Matte 11 and 12 first, and I'm going to go over what we've done with that black liner, and I'm back in with the Vieve brush, and we're just going right over that to deepen but also soften, because then it doesn't come out as a solid black line. It basically enhances what we've done without adding like a solid jet black bottom lash line. The one thing we don't want to do is the solid black line underneath and just concealer straight up to it. I think that that's actually what makes people's eyes look smaller. When you add in this soft smoke underneath, it doesn't have to be as dark as this, but any kind of shadow, just that little smoke underneath, it can open the eye up so much more when you've got eyeliner on the waterline. Also go back in with some of the lighter shades and just make sure that they're there to soften out the edges completely. And just a little bit lower than what we've done. Again, this is very scary for a lot of people, but this is where you have to be a little bit braver and bring it a little lower. It's not for everyone, I've said it before, but if you really are drawn to these kind of looks, then this is how you would do it. I'm so wrong. This is matte 10 and 11. We're doing matte 12. Got that wrong. So this now is going to be really tight lined up into that lash line right next to where we've done the eyeliner. I know a lot of you will ask, I've got makeup on, I've got concealer on, and it's not set, there's no powder on my skin. How do you do this kind of makeup and it not drop everywhere? But I use very small amounts of product shadow on the brush, and I dab it off, and then I use a very, very light pressure when I'm actually putting it on my eye, because the harder you press, the stronger something comes out as well, so then you're more likely to make a mistake. So very, very small, very light to touch. And now I'm just going to go back in with my Vieve brush and make sure that that's kind of seamless blend as well. God, I'm really feeling like the old me. Go in with the darker browns. Tropic brush just to make sure that that area is blended out. Been a while and it feels good to be back. This is 9 and 10 now, just to bring a little bit of depth and warmth into the crease on top of everything. It's just a matter of going back and forth when it comes to smoky blends, because it's always better to work light to dark, they say, but when it comes to actually wanting to build intensity with the darkness, sometimes you do just need to add the black or the deep brown or whatever colour you're using first, and then slowly you blend it out and you slowly build on top of that from kind of like dark to light. It also works really well. There's just a way of doing it. Like I said, you saw how I did it on the lash line. You literally apply the black, blend out that black, add the deep brown shades, and then add the medium brown shades. It's just a way of building from dark to light as well. You can do it either way, but if you want the real intensity, then I do love doing it this way around. Just want to add to that lash line, on the top lash line, I'm going to put the Better Than Sex liquid liner, just literally so that that root of the lash is looking really jet black. You can see what I mean. It just adds that little bit of intensity. Now that I'm seeing this in balance, I definitely want to add more depth to the brows. Do that, and I'm going to do my mascara and come back to you. We have done mascara, and I've decided to add in some lashes, which I never ever do, guys. I rarely wear lashes anymore, and this used to be my all-time go-to. I never used to go to work without lashes back in the day when I worked at MAC. But these ones are ones that Nikki, was it Makeup by Nikki LaRose? I am obsessed with watching her YouTubes. I feel like she's just on my vibe, and I love her recommendations. But these are the new natural lashes from Kiss Lashes, and these are the ones called Glowy Skin. A half lash, kind of wispy, the most beautiful half lash. Difficult with lashes because I'm so picky, so I've got to the point where I use individuals on clients a lot, but it's more so because I don't love like a really thick, bold lash. I prefer them to look like your own lashes. I use Revitalash, so my lashes over time have become thicker and longer because of Revitalash. So this is why I don't wear lashes as much anymore, but it does make such an impact to the makeup. Whilst I'm waiting for the lash glue to dry, I'm gonna start perfecting the skin. So we're gonna go back in with the Vieve concealer, and we're going to enhance everything by neating it up. This is a great way to clean up the eye makeup and also just add some extra staying power and coverage. Naked Sundays. As you can see, I use so many different brushes. Sometimes I really switch between different brushes just to get the finish that I want. So this is more dense, which means I'll get more coverage from the concealer. So using my Sigma F03 brush. I don't always use brushes in the areas that they are designed for. I really loved this for concealer, but it's actually been made for highlight. So think outside the box when it comes to your tools and your application, because it doesn't always need to be by the book or what it's being sold as. As you can see, that's now really enhanced the eye shape. For blusher, I still want to look like I am flushed. So I've been obsessed with these new Haus Labs Glassy blush balms. This is the shade Glassy Pitaya. So it's a really bright pink, and it's going to look extremely bright when I'm applying it now, but when it blends out, it's so stunning. So we're going to use Caia Cosmetics F06 brush and bringing that up. These blushers are the perfect texture and finish. I showed them on my Instagram and TikTok. I just haven't spoken about them on YouTube yet because they were only sent to me a few weeks ago, and now I'm hooked. I've been wearing them all the time, but you can see that that just gives a beautiful flush to the skin. I'm gonna add a little more. Going back in with a very small light layer of concealer in this under eye kind of mid section, because it really does make a difference with these small light layers being built up. And then we're just going to buff that out again, because obviously we are going to set this with powder. I just don't want to use too much powder to set. I want it to be a very light layer. Okay, before we do any more, I'm going to stick this half lash down. There are so many options with lashes nowadays. You can get lashes that can be stuck easily below the lash line. Enhanced that outer edge. You can see the enhancement it gives on the eye shape. Guys, it's been a really long time since I wore lashes, and this is literally what I would do back in the day, but the fact that I haven't done it for so long feels really strange to me. Not sure how I feel. I think I preferred my lashes before, but anyway, we're going to move forward. Okay, anyway, lightly powder this whole look. So I'm using my Huda Beauty Easy Bake in the shade Banana Bread, just to really softly set everything in. I don't want this to look too powdered, but we are modernising it slightly by powdering down, whereas back in the day, once again, I would never wear powder. So I'm going to go down by that nose contour. I'm going to lift up by the eye and really drag that out. The smallest amount of product, I say it every time when it comes to powder, I don't overdo it. And I'm using banana bread because I still want to keep the that golden effect. Once this sets after like an hour or so, the glow still comes back through, and we are going to add powder bronzer. The one place I really care for my powder nowadays is this area because it just flattens that texture. I've also had a little breakout here, so I'm just making sure these areas are all set the way we want them to. For setting all of that bronzer and adding the glow, I'm going to use my Caia glow bronzer. This is my personal one. I have one in my kit that's not ruined. This one's kind of come apart from the base. But this is the glow bronzer and it's literally what it says. This is the shade Antigua. I want that basically everywhere. So I'm going to put it on my cheeks under that blusher that we've done, and I'm just going to softly blend it down so that we don't have any harsh edges. Down the sides of that nose contour. I'm just going to highlight nose contour with a highlight shade from one of the NARS blush palettes. So you can see how much that enhances everything. Such a classic way to contour and highlight the nose. I don't know if we need any more flush, but I'm just going to add a little because why the hell not? Blushes from Haus Labs just do everything in one. They give you a glow from within. They give you a really good colour payoff that also just blends into seamlessness, like nothing. They are so beautiful. Some of the colours can scare you just because they're so bright, but the way that they apply is so beautiful. So please don't feel scared by these, they're unreal. Before I continue with anything else, I really want to get my lip on. So I'm going to use the Makeup by Mario Tan Lip Liner. I really don't want my lips to be too dark in comparison. I want a really nice kind of nudie lip. So we're going to use Tan because it's not too harsh. Very similar to Strip Down by MAC. And I want my lips to look really pouty, so I am going to just try and make them look as pouty and plump as possible. I'm going to kind of like straighten off my Cupid's bow a little just so it looks more pouty. It's actually mad what lip liner can do. I haven't even got my lip colour on yet, but the lip liner has brought everything together. For the lip, I'm going to try Charlotte Tilbury's Bitch Perfect shade. I do really want something, I think, lighter than this, and I know that sounds mad, but I'm really trying to create that old school, really sexy, sultry makeup, and that to me is the epitome of like a nude lip. It kind of works, but it's almost too peachy. This is my Kit lip palette. Any of you that actually follow my Instagram or TikTok will know that every time I do a lip colour on my clients, and people ask what it is, I always reply saying that I've used it from my personal palette that I made. And I mix a few shades, so I never know what colour it is. And it's basically because I have crushed all the lipsticks that I love into palettes, and then I did have names written on the back, but then I've replaced over the years with other things. And basically, because when I'm mixing, I don't really look at the name, I just look at what the colour is that I want. I don't know what I put on people's lips, basically. That's it. I just want to lighten slightly through the centre. Again, I couldn't tell you what that is. Bring those lashes together with some mascara. I always use my Huda Beauty mascara. This is what I used off of camera earlier, but already that's enhancing. If I'm getting taken out for Valentine's, I want to feel like this. The look with my beauty spots. I mean, this one is my real one. Say it all the time. I always use Freck. This is the dark shade of Freck. So it does come out in a really deep kind of black brown, and it stains really well. But I like to draw the other one on around about here, but if I get a spot that I don't like the look of, then I'll usually place it around depending on where I want it. But what do we all think? I'm gonna actually put my earrings in. Some extra body glow on my hands and chest, obviously depending on what you're wearing, and we are done. This is my take on a beautiful, sexy Valentine's look. If you are like me and you love that classic smoky eye, glowy skin, something that still looks really done and really glam, but we don't want any kind of like real harsh lines. We want something that looks a lot softer, and this is my take on that. Before I leave you guys with this look is add in my clear gloss. This is a real trusty product from MAC. This is something I've used for years, and it is just literally a clear gloss, but it is made for multi-use. So it's not made just for your lips. It's not a sticky gloss for your lips. This is made so that you can use it in different parts of the body and the face. Ultimately, it was made back in the day for photo shoots. MAC was, at the time, one of the only brands that was creating products that were great for photo shoots. And so the MAC gloss was something that no other brand did at the time. This has been around forever. You can use this product with a brush, but I actually would just say use it with your fingers, because it does actually end up ruining a brush. So that brush will have to stay as the gloss brush, shall I say. This look that I'm about to do is going to change this from a matte smoky look to a glossy smoky look, and it looks so sexy, and it's definitely not something that's ultra long wear, but I kind of like the look of it once it wears in. For me, it works really well. If you already have if you find that your eyeshadows already crease quite a lot and you don't like that, then don't do this. But if you want to kind of embrace it and let that look and that oily lid look be a part of your look, then please do try it, because it's honestly unreal. So we're just going to use fingers just to dab this on that eyelid, and you'll see it's such a subtle way of adding glow into your makeup without it being a shimmer eyeshadow. It's like it just catches in the light. It looks like you're sweaty, and I don't know, it just gives me like photo shoot vibes and catwalk. Yeah, I love it. So anyway, I hope you guys have enjoyed this. I hope you've enjoyed me doing something that I really love and something that I've just not gone back to for a long time. I was sat thinking about this, and it's so easy to fall into the trap of doing what everybody else is doing on Instagram, on TikTok, on YouTube, doing what you think people want to see. But I have kind of fallen into that trap of sometimes forgetting what I really love to do. And don't get me wrong, I've still been creating what I love to do, because if you look at my looks, you'll see a distinct pattern with a lot of my looks. But yeah, it's just nice to go back to things that I really enjoy doing and showing you guys. And I hope you've learned something from this tutorial, and I really, really hope that whatever you're doing this Valentine's weekend is something that makes you feel really happy and content, because I know that there's a lot of like random holidays and lots of media around like boosting businesses and companies at certain times of the year. Obviously they've made up Valentine's Day. We've got loads of made up days that we all fully embrace. I'm one of them. I love Valentine's, but I love it for my girls, because I just feel like it's such a girls' day. So even though it's all about love, love is in every aspect of our lives, our friendships, our family, our partner, whoever it is. But I really hope you enjoy your Valentine's and you enjoy your self-care through Valentine's, which is something I'm really big on, and all year round actually. But yeah, thank you guys again for watching. Please don't forget to click and subscribe, because that is one of the biggest parts of all of this. Comment, please do share your opinions or looks you really love, something that you really enjoy doing on yourself or like seeing, because it'd be good for me to know for the future. Don't forget to share too, and I will see you next time. I found the sweetest metaphors to describe